let's hear a little bit from what Nick Saban said Wednesday night regarding the buying, as Saban put it, of players by the school that Deion Sanders now coaches.
So if the NCAA doesn't get some protection from litigation, whether we got to get an antitrust or whatever it is, from a federal government standpoint, this is not going to change because they cannot enforce their rules. Just like Nate said, we have a rule right now that says you cannot use name, image, and likeness to entice a player to come to your school. Hell, read about it in the paper. I mean, Jackson State paid a guy $1 million last year that was a really good Division I player to come to school. It was in the paper, and they bragged about it. Nobody did anything about it.
And that sparked a reaction from Deion Sanders, who, first of all, it was reported by Jean-Jacques Taylor of Anscape.com that it was $250,000 in pending and future NIL payments for the player in question. Travis Hunter, I believe, was his name. What Deion Sanders said, and this gets to the point we were just making, Peter, Coach Saban wasn't talking to me. Coach Saban wasn't talking to Jimbo Fisher. He was talking to his boosters. He was talking to his alumni. He was talking to his givers. He was trying to get money. That's what he was doing. He was just using us to get to where he was trying to get to. Sanders is right. Now, the personal history wasn't there between Deion Sanders and Nick Saban that was there between Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban, so it didn't go down that ugly path. And Sanders pretty much took the high road, although he made it clear he didn't want to talk to Nick Saban. Saban tried to call him, I don't want to talk to you privately. You talk about me publicly, I don't want to talk to you privately. I'll talk to you publicly if you're going to talk about me publicly. I like that approach. Let's hash it all out, like you said. Let's see what's going on. Let's have some transparency. Let's find out what used to happen. You know, I was a little disappointed yesterday in the Jimbo Fisher rant when he was saying go talk to people who worked with Nick Saban about what he does. Well, you did. You did. You got something to say? Say it. Go talk to people about what Nick Saban did. You're one of them. Keep talking. Tell us what he did. Tell us if you got something to say. That kind of bothered me. It'd be different if he was a guy who's never worked with Nick Saban and has just heard rumors over the years from people who did. Hey, you know, I've heard plenty of stuff about Nick Saban. That's fundamentally different from, I worked with him. So regardless of what used to happen, regardless of what's happening now, the bottom line is, as Deion said, Peter, Nick Saban needs more money. He's trying ultimately to get more money until he gets the protection of a federal law that would in some way limit what can be given to the players.
I keep wondering when I saw the Saban versus Deion thing, I kept saying, if I were the vice president of marketing for Aflac right now, I'll tell you what I would do. I would say we are leaning into this because, look, Mike, you wrote about it this week. I wrote about it on Monday in my column about Jerry Jones. Hey, look, conflict sells. You know, anger sells. Bad news sells. And all I can say is that the most watched commercial in the southeastern United States, from Miami to Houston, from the Florida Keys to to North Carolina, the most watched commercial and the most anticipated commercial, if people found out that they did a commercial together this year, would be the Aflac commercial where Deion Sanders, does something to Nick Saban. Look, it has to happen. It absolutely has to happen. I don't mean to be making light of this, but give the people what they want.
And we're going to talk later about the excellent work that you did getting the comments from Jerry Jones about how in the NFL, anything and everything that brings attention to the product is good. I thought yesterday Jerry Jones is sitting on his super yacht contemplating the ways he could maybe stoke Mike McCarthy to start a public battle with some other rival coach. Hey, Mike, what can you... And I'm kidding, but I'm not. Like, Jerry Jones had to see that yesterday and think, this is great. This is perfect. Because now, October 8th, Texas A&M versus Alabama. Must-see TV. I don't watch a whole lot of college football, especially when I travel on Saturdays. I'm going to make sure that I see Texas A&M versus Alabama on Saturday, October the 8th. That's for damn sure.
Look, here's the one other thing I would say just about this little triumvirate, the Deion, Fisher, Saban thing. And that is that at the absolute base of this, at the core of this, are three men who are very, very good at what they do, who are very strong-willed, and who really believe strongly in what they do. They are not going to go hide in some corner. You may have been disappointed at the fact Fisher didn't go farther in what he said. But they're not going to go hiding in some corner. That's why, to me, this really legitimately has a chance to, even though Saban yesterday apologized and said, hey, I shouldn't have singled people out. Even though he apologized for it, it's done. Damage is done. It's too late. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. And so the thing that everybody should hope for is a further airing of the problems of the NIL hurricane that has hit college sports. And again, I think it's better than not paying players, but you can just see right now there are problems here that are going to become, relatively speaking, ruinous to the game if everybody is just allowed to go do whatever they want to do.
And again, this is the chaos they deserve for all those years of denying players fair compensation for their skills, their abilities, their hard work, and their physical sacrifices. So I sit back and I say, let it burn, Peter. They'll put the fire out eventually. It's too big to fail. There's too much money in play for college football to fail.
Right.
There will be some fundamental shifts.
Too many people care. Too many people care.
Right. And I look, I understand that the West Virginia University, 30 miles up the road from me where I went to law school, and I've gone to plenty of college football and basketball games in Morgantown over the years. I fear that organization is going to end up third tier or fourth tier because that's just the way it is. You can't compete when you're talking about gigantic money falling out of the trees, but that's the way it is. It's a system that was founded on a fundamental attitude of corruption in that the players were exploited for decades, and now we're in an age where the players aren't being denied, and it's going to be messy for a while, but that's what they deserve because that's what these institutions set up, and they delayed the reckoning as long as possible.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.